1,000 generations live in you now. No pressure at all. Hey everyone, this is the Movie Maniac. Thank you for watching, and today we are talking about Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. This might not be one of my normal reviews because I can't go anywhere close to what even might be considered an accidental spoiler. And look, I understand. When I went to go see Rise of Skywalker, I wore earplugs through the box office, through the lobby, through the concession line, because I wasn't taking any chances. You are not going to spoil this for me. So my goal is this, to give you a review that if I had watched prior to seeing the movie, I would be okay with. So you can trust me. You know I'm going to treat you right. I'm not going to blow this film for you. This is supposed to be one of the most anticipated films of the decade, and it is. For me, at least. I know some people have kind of fallen out of favor with Star Wars because they felt a little burned by The Last Jedi or Solo didn't live up to their expectations, and I completely understand that. But for me, I've been through the dark periods. I lived through the prequels. I was introduced with the original trilogy, though, like many of you. So that love, passion, and hard-to-explain connection with Star Wars that many of us have is still there for me. I know what it is. I've seen it. I've felt it again, even my adult age. And I tried my best to go into The Rise of Skywalker with almost no expectations. The day of, I decided, you know what? We're not going to go in with a checklist. We're not going to go in expecting anything necessarily. Let J.J. Abrams take us on the ride that he's created, that everyone else has had a hand in, with this picture in particular, and let go and enjoy. I went into this looking for reasons to enjoy it, not to hate it. So I want to tell you up front and just get this out of the way, which again is unusual for me. I loved this movie. I thought the way they handled Kylo Ren was fantastic. In a way, you could say this is his movie, but you'd also have to say it's Rey's movie. And then you'd also have to say it's everyone's movie. And it is to some extent. The way they handle this is similar to how they were able to balance all the different characters in the Avengers films, where it seems like everyone, for the most part, receives adequate screen time. As far as Kylo Ren, I just think he's always been one of the strongest characters out of this new trilogy for me. And how they used him here, where they take his character, the challenges and things he has to overcome, it was great, and I loved it. And I know especially in certain areas, it's going to be pretty polarizing. And that's okay. Star Wars has always been, ever since the OT. I mean, if people love the original trilogy, yeah, sure. But since then, you've never had a consensus on what the best Star Wars movie is or which the best of the new trilogy. I mean, it's going to be all over depending on who you speak with. And I think that they did a great service to Kylo Ren here. And we have to talk about the shining star here, Rey. And I'll tell you guys, J.J. Abrams, he's listened to the criticisms. This is very clear when you're watching this film. She is not a Mary Sue. She is imperfect. She has a lot of goals that she's struggling to reach. And I must be honest with you. She has been someone that have never truly cared about. From Force Awakens to Last Jedi, Rey has never been on my radar.
Your jokes suck.
And I liked her here. For the first time, I care about Rey, and that's such a great feeling. I mean, I'm dying to be completely invested and attached to these new films, and she's great. I really like her. I wish I could have cared this much about her in the last two movies, but they finally autocorrected this time around. It's amazing to me how much ground they were able to cover in this film. And I think that that is going to disappoint some people. I've already heard those say that the first 30, 45 minutes feel slow, and there's exposition, and there's a lot of plot, and I didn't mind it at all. As a matter of fact, I was hooked from the beginning. I'll tell you that much, and I think that they do a good job at kicking this film off. Even the opening title crawl, I love. From the first frame to the last, I was completely hooked. This is what I've been wanting out of the new trilogy. To me, this is a perfect balance of old Star Wars and new Star Wars. This is what I've been searching for in these new pictures. There are going to be certain things that you expect that are in this movie. There are going to be certain things that you expect that don't actually really happen. And then there's going to be completely unexpected surprises. And that's one of the things that has, I'm sure, always been a struggle in going in to make one of these new movies, is that you have a fan base that wants certain things to happen in some way, and then they also are a little concerned about doing something too radically different. And I think that JJ just kind of harnessed all that and just put an unbelievable level of focus and determination and passion into The Rise of Skywalker. And it shows. This feels like a competently made film. This feels like it's made by someone who cooked up an idea and said, I think this could be great. I think this could be the best of the new movies. Let me tackle this. And it seems as if that's what we're watching. I do have mixed feelings about digital Leia. As you know, she's mainly, I think, all digital. There's reused footage from The Force Awakens, from my understanding. She had passed on, and they still need to finish out this movie. I can tell. I can really tell. I'm concerned about how this is going to age because this technology gets better every year. It felt like they were kind of struggling to make her character come to life in this movie and to feel authentic and to feel realistic. I I don't know. I'm not. I don't hate it, but I think that this one may have missed the mark a little bit. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's a complete insult to Carrie Fisher. I don't think this is one you need to march up to Skywalker Ranch to protest. It's not. It's not that kind of a thing. But I do believe that maybe it could have been a little bit better, and I'd be curious to know what some of the challenges were in doing this. Okay, so I got so caught up in talking about everything that I ran out of space on my camera. I just had to go offload all the footage. So I'm back, and I know most of you are probably wondering by now what rating I give this movie. Guys, I'm going to give Episode 9 an 8 out of 10. I thought this was great. This is the Star Wars movie I've been wanting out of this new trilogy. It gets it right for me on damn near every level. Is it perfect? No. Otherwise, it would have been a 10 out of 10, which it's not. Is it great for me? Yeah, it is great. I loved what they did with this. This was their opportunity to correct everything before it, to correct the mistakes. And I don't mean everything before it like going back to Lucas or something. I'm saying just in this new trilogy. And they do it. This is your last chance to give us something that we want. If I had to use one word to describe The Rise of Skywalker, I would say satisfying. That was something I felt coming out of the theater. I thought, wow, I'm satisfied. Like, I'm really okay with this. Could that rating change? If I go see it again, will it get bumped down to a 7.5? Or could it jump up to an 8.5 or stay the same? Yeah, sure, any of these things are possible. I am just so happy as a Star Wars fan to have received this film because I have always thought, okay, there was tons of missteps along the way for me, and I don't mean to get into a comparison game here, and even by risking that, I'm risking a bunch of downvotes, whatever. Rogue One, I think, has been the best quality film out of the new Star Wars lineup. However, we're talking about the episodes, and I do want to keep it a little bit closer to that conversation, and I think Rise of Skywalker, for me, is the film I've been searching for. When I've been going and sitting in the theaters and watching these trailers since 2015, just so amped for a new movie in this series, it's this kind of film that I've been wanting. And I know many people are going to disagree. I'm going to hear, this was very disappointing. Oh, I thought it could have been much better. Oh, I just wasn't invested. And that's fine. Everyone has a right to how they feel about this movie. And any film in particular, for that matter. It's all valid. I can disagree with it. I can point out why relying on just the negative reviews without seeing something for yourself can sometimes be an issue. Not all the time, but sometimes it is. And this is one of those movies you just have to see for yourself. If you are expecting a 10 out of 10, you might be disappointed. If you're expecting the next Return of the Jedi or Empire Strikes Back or New Hope or whatever your favorite is, yeah, you might be a little bummed out. But if you're like me and you're at the point where you've kind of just surrendered expectations and you're pumped, you're dying to see this movie, it's on one of your most anticipated films of the year list, you can't help but be energized, but you're not going to go in with that checklist, I think you might be very surprised in a good way. I'm absolutely excited to go see this again. And as a Star Wars fan, where do you stand on this? Because I think there'll be people that agree with me, but I think there'll be just as many who absolutely think I'm crazy for even suggesting that Rise of Skywalker is a great picture. Guys, as always, make sure to smash that notification bell, like, comment, and subscribe so you can stay inside the mind of a movie maniac. And may the Force be with you.